Hello people, welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me or are watching my videos for the first time, I'm Bellon Huang, an undergraduate of Media and Culture at the University of Lancaster in the UK. On my channel, I help you summarize talks mainly from TED in a simple, concise way so that you could easily understand the most important bits of the talk, as well as to provide my own opinions of it that not only could help you form your own opinions, but also give you tips on creating a quality of life that leads to a successful, contented way of life. Today we're going to look at a talk by a well-known American entrepreneur, author, and podcaster, Tim Ferris, called Why You Should Define Your Fears Instead of Your Goals. Let's go. To begin with, the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, a New York Times bestseller, mentioned in his talk that as a person who has experienced more than 50 major depressive episodes due to bipolar disorder, Ferris would like to introduce us to stoicism, a tool that he uses to cope with depression and to, on top of that, help assist him to make important business decisions. In terms of the origin of stoicism and its usage, Ferris states, it started in 800 BC in ancient Greece when a teacher named Zeno of Citium would often deliver his lecture on his stoa, which eventually became the idea of stoicism as we know today. Beyond applying the ideology as means of self-help and personal development, which is what it appears to be, stoicism was already a popular idea used for a wide variety of purposes in ancient Greece and Rome. And today, it is still being implemented as a key method among sports teams and the military to strengthen mental toughness and boost motivation. As for us, the host of the podcast, The Tim Ferris Show, suggests we could simply view it as an operating system that can be used to achieve our goals under pressure and make better choices. In a practical perspective, unlike Seneca, a well-known Stoic writer who practices fear meditation, in other words, thinking of the worst possible scenarios that may possibly happen to overcome paralysis, Ferris does it much less intensely. That is, namely, what Ferris calls fear setting, in which we write down our fears to see with our bare eyes which ones are controllable and which ones are not, and thus to take control over the controllable ones. To do so, we write down the following questions onto 3 pieces of paper in order, which are: on our first page, we draw 3 columns, which we then, as we can see here, firstly define our fears, see what we can do to prevent them, and what we can do if our fears have really come to reality. Following that, the title of our next page is what might be the benefits of an attempt or partial success, where we will list out all the benefits we can possibly think of, as detailed as we can in all areas, for example, finances, physical or mental health, etc. And on our last page, also write, as detailed as possible, what opportunities will we lose as a result of our inactions from half a year's time to a year's time to 3 years' time. After illustrating to the audience his fear-setting exercise, Ferris added, while we are doing this, we might find a couple of our fears to be justifiable. Nonetheless, it is only after we have listed and evaluated our fears via methods, such as what was just introduced to us here, can we say that some of the fears we have are reasonable. Lastly, to conclude this talk, the Brain Quicken founder left us with a quote by one of his closest friends, also a 4-time weightlifting champion, Jerzy Gregorek. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. To which Ferris said, to put hard choices differently, it could also mean taking action on things we are afraid of, yet what we need to do the most. As we bear in mind the iconic quote of Seneca, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Here in my opinion section, I would like to discuss some of the thoughts I have about fear and the mindset I think we should have as we face them. First of all, in addition to the talk, I feel that beyond providing us with an alternative way towards facing our fears, Ferris's approach it's also a reminder for us to face our own fears that are in front of us, blocking our way towards happiness and success that we deserve. Indeed, such like what Seneca says, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. I believe that alongside the various obstacles, fear is certainly one of the main factors that stops us from reaching for our goals. Moreover, here, I want to boldly propose the idea that fear only exists on an intersubjective or personal level, is self-created, imaginary, and nothing more than a regular type of emotion. Hence, just as what I mentioned in my previous video, please feel free to check it out, I believe that we are in control of our emotions, including an emotion of fear, despite that it is seemingly horrifying and difficult to deal with. And that is why, so to speak, Ferris's exercise comes into such great use, which is by separating what we can and cannot control. In other words, this is the first step we can take as we confront our fears and make it not as terrible as it feels. Nevertheless, I'm clearly aware of the fact that oftentimes things are always easier to say than to do. Thus here, more than merely telling you to face your fears, I'm going to provide you guys with 2 steps that you can take to face your fears without feeling stressed or paralyzed. First and foremost, I believe, though fear is an emotion that is paralyzing, terrifying, or perhaps petrifying, we are always in control of our reaction towards it. And in regard to which, I would say, instead of running away from it and causing our fear to become bigger and bigger like a snowball, we should rather see fear as a sign or motivation for us to act, as oftentimes it is way too easy for us to sink into a state of paralysis and just freeze there, which is undoubtedly unbeneficial when it comes to efficiency and productivity. Therefore, it is by starting to do something, I feel that we can reduce our stress and anxiety that is caused by fear. And yes, even we might not find a solution to the problem straight away as we are feeling so overwhelmed, but it is merely via the act of doing. Can we gradually find our way to the right solution to tackle the issue? Secondly, in respect to what I've just mentioned, as we are attempting to solve the matter that is illustrated in front of us, we should be confident and optimistic. Again, also related to what I've talked about in my opinion section of the previous video, I'd argue that besides environmental factors, there is nothing more that can influence the result of our outcome as much as ourselves, which is specifically our mindset. Hence, if we want our outcome to be positive, we have to be positive towards ourselves to start with, which is by trusting and having faith in our capabilities whilst we believe that we're going to be just fine. Overall, I want to say to you guys that although the feeling of fear is terrible, there is almost no way that we can eliminate it completely. I get that, albeit also being a type of emotion that we have. It is time for us to take back control over it and stop allowing it to take control over us. And it is also the time when we start to believe in ourselves and think we can do it. Finally, though our fears may be helpful when it comes to, for instance, preventing us from jumping down a cliff, we should not allow it to affect us making important decisions, performing at the best of our ability, taking opportunities that come our way, and 2, most importantly, just act. Thank you guys for watching this video, and don't forget to smash the like button, give me that thumbs up, comment below, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.